Hi everyone, good to have your company. Eileen here from the Sweet Puppy Stencils design team, and I'd like to share this card with you. Now I've used a topper, and the topper size is 12.5 centimetres by 19. On top of a card base that is 21 centimetres by 15 centimetres. And all I did was to take an A4 sheet of super smooth white cardstock, folded it, creased it and cut it to 21 by 15, and then another piece of super smooth white cardstock, and I've cut that to, for the topper, 19 by 12.5 centimetres. And here's my topper. Taking the stencil, which is the pumpkins, absolutely super design, really pretty. So I'm popping the stencil on. Don't worry about the borders at the sides if they don't match, it doesn't matter. Just make sure you line up the bottom of the stencil with the bottom of the cardstock. And I've got my stamp press here, and I'm using the back of it because it's magnetic to do the initial inking work. So pop that down, more or less central. Couple of magnets. Also some tape, because I've got cardstock showing at the side and I don't want the ink to get over that and ruin my white space. The bottom's covered, so that's fine. Bit more on this side, and this is Sweet Puppy Stencil stencil tape that I'm using. Good stuff. And then a piece along the top, because there's a little bit of card showing there as well. Just a thin line. So that's all protected, and away we go. A couple of makeup brushes. Ink I'm using is Distress ink, Tattered Rose and Speckled Egg. Starting off with Speckled Egg, and this pad is quite dry. Don't use too much wet ink because it will leak under the stencil, so it's quite dry. If yours is too wet, take a bit off on some copy paper and apply in layers so it doesn't leak through the stencil. Down we go. Circular motion, I'm putting quite a lot of pressure on to get the initial colour on. Releasing the pressure as I go towards the bottom of the pumpkin, so that the top is a darker, deeper colour, gives you a bit more dimension, and lighter as it goes down the pumpkin. A bit more for the bottom of the larger pumpkin. And just a small amount of blue on that leaf there. And that stem. Just going back to the top of the small pumpkin just to deepen the blue. And a bit more on the flower. So you've got darker tones throughout. Over to Tattered Rose. Same rule. Some areas of the pumpkin will be deeper than others, rather than just one flat colour. This is even drier than the other pad, which is great for not leaking, but it's going to take some time to apply. Take your time though. You'll get mauve tones as it hits the blue, which is good. Looks pretty. I think that should do. There we are. I think that should do. You'll get a different result each time. A bit more pink on here, maybe. Yeah. A bit more pink coming down onto the smaller pumpkin. So you've got some nice purple tones there. Right, let's have a look. Remove the tape. That's not bad at all. A couple of stray bits there from the stencil, I think. But that looks good to me. Okay. So now going to do the stamping. So turning the stamp press over, I've got a Sizzix sticky grid sheet here. It isn't double-sided adhesive. It is a tacky sheet that you can buy for stamp presses and doesn't last forever, but it lasts some considerable time. I've had a few sessions out of this one sheet, and just popping the my card in, put the magnets on there for the moment. And I'm just going to get my stamp, make sure it's clean. Now it's Stampcapes, so you can't see through these, but I have cut it. I mounted it onto this foam and I've cut it so this edge at the bottom is straight. So that's my guide for the stamp being straight, so it's really straight. 147F is the code number, and I will pop the name of the stamp into the post that I do on the Sweet Poppy Stencils Facebook page. But I think Lucy lists them not only by name but by the code number as well. So that's 147F. It's a beautiful cabin in the woods. I've used this before many times and it's one of my faves. So just clean, that's clean. Just going to pop it down. And I'm trying to remember how far across it went. Let me look at the original. That went into that there. Maybe back just a smidge. Down a bit. It's difficult to judge when you can't see, isn't it? When you're going through the stamp, but I think that will do it. You're not going to get it the same every time anyway. And I think that's about right. Lift up. Turn it round, and I'm just going to check that that bottom part of the stamp is on one of those grid lines, and that is perfectly straight going across to the grid line of my Misty. Okay, I think that I've got that right. Versafine Clair Nocturne, lovely fluid ink. Now I'm just going to take off a tiny amount of the ink with a piece of kitchen towel. Underneath the cabin, and there's a reflection right across. I'm just taking a small amount off underneath the cabin. It's about 1/2 inch there. because that covers part of the leaf of the pumpkin, and I want it to be not so black, that pumpkin leaf. I don't want the design going across that quite so heavily. But your choice, you don't have to take it off if you don't want to. It's no, you know, it's no real problem. I'm using my Speedball Baron as my hands are stiffer as I get older. Any pressure tool will do. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, that looks good. That looks very good. Right, so I'm going to ink up once more. So I can get it deeper. Remembering to take off just a tiny amount again that I did before. Same area. And then wallop this on. Like so. Perfect. Okay, take that out. Check fingers. A stamp I would just clean off with a damp cloth in water and water. Like so. So it's just to recap, it's just in this area that I removed a tiny bit of the image. And you've still got the reflection there, but it isn't covering that leaf quite as much. It isn't so dark. But of course, you can leave it, all of it, if you want to. No need to take it off if you don't want to. Right, just checking hands are okay. Cover the image up. I've got a black Sharpie that I'm going to use now to draw in a line down the edge the card. Use a ruler if you wish, do it at the beginning if you wish, or don't do it at all. Your choice. There we go. And then finally, I'm taking I've got a Posca paint pen here, white, pin type nib, 0.7 millimeters. And I'm just going to give it a good shake because it's paint, as you know. And then I'm going to start walloping it or whacking it with this. Now, I don't want it over the cabin area, but I do... Oh, as you were, go back a step, sorry. I do need to pop in my word first, just in case. Now, where is it? Here it is. Right, we're going to pop in my word. Just taking my foam mat that I use for stamping because I've removed the stamp press. Okay. So I've got the word silence here, and that's what I'm using. And this is from a plate that Sweet Poppy Stencils sell from Stampcapes stamps. And look, you get... Now, this is a considered purchase. This is an investment, but I use these words all the time. They are so not only useful, but I think they are lovely fonts, absolutely, truly great quality stamps as well. And this, if you look at a lot of my work, you will see silence, you'll see dusk, dawn, sunset, dream, autumn leaves, on and on and on and on, stormy days, whatever I can use. out of this set I do. It's been a really good investment for me. So you'll find that on the Sweet Poppy Stencil stamp site or website. First find Claire again. Lift it up, bring that over, and I'm just going to pop it down there. Hopefully it's straight. Rest the stamp, let the ink soak in, and then up. Now I've got a line. I didn't clean it off along the top. Oh, what am I going to do with that? Well, I can get rid of it, I think. It's good to make mistakes so you can see how to deal with them. So I've got now one of these sand erasers. I don't know if it will get rid of all of this black mark, but it will get rid of it enough for me to deal with it. So I'm going to be quite heavy-handed going across. Someone's trying to message me. Will there be a hole in the card? Quite possibly. Because I'm really giving it some welly. And this is the sand edge. This is a Tombow Mono sand and rubber eraser. Lucy has got some of these on her website as well. We're nearly there. It has removed some of the card, but it's hardly noticeable. I'll know it's there, you will know it's there, but no one else will, I don't think. Because what I'm going to do now is two things. One, I'm going to take a blue crayon, and where that blue has gone, I'm very lightly going to pop it back in with more or less the same colour, okay? So we can still see the damage, but I'm not giving up on it. We can still see the damage. And then I'm going to get a white pen, and I'm just going to put in a few dabs here and there, all right? Where it's heavily damaged. Okay, so you can still see it. I can still see it. And then I'm getting my white Posca paint pen. I'm going to cover up Silence. And then I'm going to start my whacking in that area of the damage. Cover the Silence up again and put a bit more. Snowing heavily in that area. Now, is that good enough to get away with? I hope so, because I'm not remaking the card. So let's recap, shall we? If you're using one word like that, make sure you go around the edge of your stamp with a damp cloth to make sure there's no black lines that the ink is soaked into. But I think I've got away with that. Well, I'm happy with it. I'm happy with it. I wouldn't bin it. When I don't like something, no matter how much effort, I will bin it if I don't like it, but I'm quite liking that. So let me pop this up so you can see it into my display board. Clear away all this rubbish. What do you think? Did I save it? Let's hold it close so you can see. Did I save that? I think I did. Yeah, I deserve a cup of coffee, don't I? And a bun. I'll see you again soon. Have a lovely weekend. Bye for now.